ProWrestlingSheet.com.
Welcome, everybody, to a brand new episode of Collider Body Slam Raw Recap. I'm excited to talk about so many things today. It was an interesting Raw. Some interesting stuff happened over the weekend, Ryan. Some great news is breaking. All Elite Wrestling press conference is happening as we speak. But I am John Rocha, your host of the show. Joined as always by the CEO of Pro Wrestling Sheet there, Ryan Satin. How are you, brother?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Don't get them too excited about All Elite Wrestling talk. I got to save some things for Wrestling Sheet Radio. We're talking about Monday Night Raw here tonight. And yes, there is a lot to talk about. We probably won't talk about the tampon thing either. I got to save something for Wrestling Sheet Radio.
Opinion.
Wrestling Sheet Radio is the top stories of the week. This is the Raw recap. We will be talking about them, but we're probably not going to get too deep into it here. But I think there's enough to talk about with Raw itself because I think that you said that you were giving them till February.
Yeah.
Right? Like beginning of February, I think you had said.
Yep.
We're getting closer to that. We're only a couple weeks away from that. And with the things that you mentioned, like, All Elite Wrestling, with it's seeming like we're gearing up for a battle.
Yeah.
It feels like a battle is on the horizon.
Yeah.
You would think that WWE would be coming out guns a-blazing for the new year. Their holiday episodes are over. Mm-hmm. They've told you Raw sucked.
Yeah.
They've told you they're going to make changes. They've said things are going to be different. We gave them the benefit of the doubt for a few weeks for the holiday episodes.
Yep.
And now I felt like this is where they had to at least show some semblance of change.
Right.
And I really didn't see it. I felt like we watched the same Raw that we've been seeing before they came out and said the show sucked. Mm-hmm. I didn't notice that much of a difference. Yes, there are different storylines happening.
Sure.
Yes, there are throwing some stipulations here and there, maybe pushing one or two different people. But for the most part, we're not seeing change. We're not seeing anything different. The show seems pretty similar to me.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily hate that. There were episodes of the show I enjoyed before. I know what I'm getting into when I watch WWE.
Yeah.
Raw's, for the most part, been the same for a long time. But I felt like if you're going to come out and say what you've been watching has sucked, you better make some really big, broad change, some big changes.
Right.
That people are going to, noticeable changes. Not like you have to be looking with a magnifying glass to see noticeable big changes. If you're going to come out and say the show you've been watching sucks and we're going to fix it. Mm-hmm. And we didn't even see a McMahon. We only saw Triple H in one segment, which was awkward with Seth Rollins, right? We didn't see anyone else, right? From the McMahon family? That confused me. It was like...
And we didn't even see the call-ups on screen.
Well, apparently those were just dark matches.
F that.
And they were not for main event, even though they changed all the graphics to say main event.
What do you need a dark match with EC3 for God's sakes? What is he not showing you in NXT that he can show you on the main roster? That's a ridiculous thing to me.
That was sort of how I felt when I was like,
a dark match
or not? You've got a whole library of content for the past year of his on the WWE Network.
Yeah.
What, couldn't Vince?
Yeah.
I know Vince McMahon's a busy guy. But couldn't someone have just gotten a tape in front of him of EC3? And also, Vince hasn't seen EC3 wrestle before he made the decision to call him up?
Amongst numerous... it isn't just only wrestling NXT. He's been at TNA. He's been a number of places where he has been a star or a superstar. So he has performed against multiple thousands of people many times. There's nothing different here. So the dark match, to me, I don't get it. Either it was a treat for the paying fans, but if you're talking about making changes, and like you said, All Elite Wrestling is gearing up here, you've got to make some moves that show that you are going to bring in new talent. It's going to shake things up there. EC3 put him in a dark match. It is not shaking things up there.
I hate to
and where's Lars been?
I hate to be fantasy booker over here. I could do it better, but wouldn't it have made a lot more sense? Backtrack before I say that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed John Cena mixing it up with Drew McIntyre.
Sure.
I like that John Cena came back. I'll beat Rocha to it. He starts off the show. Well, first, there's this whole brawl at the beginning of the show.
Rollins and Lashley.
That gets Rollins and Lashley. That gets broken up.
Yeah.
Then Cena comes out and starts his thing. Drew McIntyre interrupts. They have a back and forth exchange. I liked it in Cena's short time back. Mm-hmm. He has put Becky Lynch over.
Yeah.
He did a cool video with the 205 Live guys.
Yes, he did.
And now I at least thought when this started, I was like, oh, cool, now he's going to put over Drew McIntyre. Get all these things done, help people get over, you know? But that's not really how this segment played out. I liked the back and forth between them. I
yeah.
thought that Drew McIntyre saying like, yeah, you know what the difference is all those guys were talk. I'm actually going to show you and come kick your ass like I've been doing. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I just felt like, to harken back to my point of like changes, or we're going to try and be cool. We're going to try and surprise you. We're going to try and give fans things they want. Don't you think it would have been a way cooler thing to have Cena come out and have EC3 interrupt him for his debut?
Absolutely.
Like a Chris Jericho Rock type situation?
Such a great point.
Like,
Yes.
It even has the similar entrance where he's got like the EC3, like the Y2J.
Yeah.
Like, I thought for sure when I saw that he was backstage or whatever, I thought for sure they were going to have a thing where his debut happened. Because that would have instantly made EC3 a credible opponent on the roster.
Right.
He comes from NXT, but he came out and right away called out John Cena. Okay, that guy's a badass. That guy's a threat.
Well, you got to look at Raw, right? I'm starting to wonder if this is a construct issue or parameters issue. This is a 3-hour show. This is what they have to do. These are the people they've signed to the talent deals, so they've got to give them the spotlight for now. If you're making changes, why are you starting out with Bobby Lashley, who you haven't been able to get fully over yet, even with Leo Rush coming in? People have started to like turn on Leo Rush as well over the last few weeks. You bring him in, you start him in a program with Rollins. You're doing that. Why? This doesn't push Rollins closer to the title. It helps Lashley. Wouldn't it have been better, even if EC3 doesn't interrupt Cena, if he hits Rollins from behind during one of his promos and starts the thing there, a la Paige and AJ, right? AJ coming out of the NXT, a Paige coming out of NXT, no one thought anything, and then Paige wins the title that night. Wouldn't that have been something if EC3 challenged or at least started a program with Rollins? That's how you make changes, right? You bring new people in. When they did with the Nexus, that was a great moment. The Nexus came out and destroyed the ring, destroyed Cena. That was awesome. That's how you make the changes. The problem is, most of the time with WWE, they'll come out and make this big moment, and then they don't follow it up consistently. And making Lashley fight Rollins, I get it. I get why it's done, but to me, it kind of you have a guy like EC3 who's going to immediately be over, knows how to work the crowd, good-looking dude, what you're looking for, great intro, Titantron, all that jazz. It would have all worked
a well-built character.
Yeah, well-built, and just as stacked. Doesn't need to have Leo Rush doing his promos on the mic.
Wouldn't look out of place.
Yeah, absolutely.
I completely agree with you on that front.
There's change.
And that was why I think, like, right off the bat, that was what started to frustrate me about Raw. And I don't think it was a bad show. I mean, it wasn't a great show. It was a mediocre.
It was okay show.
It was a mediocre show.
Mediocre.
And I just felt like, I get that we're supposed to give it some time with these changes and stuff, but like, it's just very formulaic. Like, we get it. Royal Rumble's coming up, so you have as many guys feuding against each other as possible to build up stories to go into the Rumble and stuff. So, I mean, it needs to be done. I get it.
Yeah, sure.
But I felt like, once again, they took the easiest route there. Like, there wasn't really much to it. Like, did they even announce the 6-man tag before that brawl started?
Cole did. But
Cole did on commentary?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure I missed it. I like Cena mixing it up with, like, the new main eventers on the show. I just felt like they could have gotten there in a better way. Like, what Cena did with Becky got Becky over.
Oh, got Becky over.
But did Cena really get anyone over here in this segment?
Not really, because McIntyre wasn't any more over than he was already. And this whole match went the way it went with Rollins, Cena, and Balor winning the match. Finn coming out. Finn got a little bit in the conversation here with the way he came out, did all the things that he did. So it served to certainly help Finn stay in the conversation. And I think a Rollins Finn Balor program is certainly on the horizon. That would be fantastic to see them going at it again. But this was, I don't know what you got out of this. And this was a 35-minute segment.
Yeah.
The fight, then the match.
Well,
35 minutes, man.
I talked to Aaron, who was there, Aaron Turner.
Oh, cool.
And he's covering the rally for us today, the All Elite Wrestling rally. We were talking.
Oh, did you pull him off in Iconics? Could he pull himself away from his Iconics worship place to go and cover All Elite? Oh, great.
Wait 1 second.
Sure. There's always news breaking here, always wrestling news happening as we record these things.
So he told me the same thing. He was like, man, I was there live, and we were pumped initially. Like, we were really pumped. And then it was like a 35-minute match with 6-man tag that really wasn't that exciting. That was a very, like, by-the-numbers thing you'd see in a WWE match. And so it wasn't necessarily bad.
Right.
But it also, like, wasn't that exciting. And I think
it wasn't Joe Rollins showed up that it got exciting in the match.
Yeah, true.
Everyone else was just doing their thing.
Going through the motions, And I think that I just feel like with the prospect of like actual competition coming up, and I get it, people are like, "Oh, Ryan, you've been talking too much about All Elite Wrestling. You're speaking way too highly of it." But like, dude, like this is like actual wrestling fans with billions of dollars to spend that are like actually trying to create competition to WWE the right way, not create WWE light, but create an actual alternative. Yeah. That to me says a lot. Like this Tony Khan guy has been a mark since he was 7, you know, like he's an adult now and he's got billions of dollars and a big corporation behind him. That to me, like that's a big deal, you know. And you would think that Vince would kind of like want to like kind of like step up to the challenge, you know. And I get it; they haven't had the press conference yet, but it's the same week. You would think that like if I were Vince McMahon, I would want to stack Raw with as many things as possible so that the news cycle is about all these crazy things I did on Raw and not this who cares upstart mud outlaw promotion announcement, you know? But instead, like, I just think that like they're gonna kill the news game this week, and to me that helps them. Like that it's only gonna make that All Elite Wrestling look like a stronger opposition.
For the record, he brought up All Elite Wrestling for the last 2 minutes, not me. So you're telling me not to.
Well,
talk
we're
about
gonna discuss the happenings of the press conference on Wrestling Sheet Radio this week.
Yeah, I'm not touching any of that. That's true. Hulk Hogan came out. Oh no, they played. The Hulk Hogan came out. They did the whole 10 bell ring salute for Mean Gene, who passed away. We've talked about it already last week. And then Hogan came out. And then Hogan did his thing, you know, in character, gave a nice heartfelt speech about Gene. Then they played that tribute, which I thought was great. The tribute was I cried last night when I watched it. I hadn't cried about Mean Gene until I watched that tribute, and then I got emotional. And then Hogan did a nice little promo talking about the dream booking that Gene might be doing up there in heaven. Look, there's no bigger Hogan fan than me on the planet. I've forgiven or excused him for a lot of things that I probably wouldn't forgive or excuse a lot of people because that guy built my childhood. But this did not feel right. This did not feel 100% correct. I think with the way he came back, I think with the way he left, I think with everything that happened behind the scenes with Hogan, it was a little difficult. And like I said, there's no bigger mark for Hogan than me, but this didn't feel 100% correct or tone perfect or no perfect, and that bothered me a little bit. But I thought he was the right guy to talk to about Mean Gene because honestly, most of his contemporaries have passed away. This is the right guy to come. If you're not going to get Flair, it's certainly Hogan tied into Mean Gene. But to me, the tribute, aside from the tribute, and I know Hulk was speaking from his heart. I don't know if he was the right guy, man. Well, what did you think?
I'm so conflicted on it because, like, I didn't grow up on Hulk Hogan.
Right.
You know,
or Mean Gene for the most part.
Well, I had
caught him
Mean
at
Gene
the tail end of the
WCW
90s,
and all that kind of stuff, but
Right.
like, I didn't watch the golden era of wrestling. Like, the Hulk Hogan era of WWF was not me. I'm younger than that.
Right.
And to the people who did, for the most part, they kind of seem to have enjoyed it. Like, I was talking to Christian Harloff here, who was a huge wrestling fan. He seems to enjoyed it. Yeah. Most of the reaction online, everyone seemed to enjoy it. So I also, like, I don't want to be like the dick parade. Like, I don't want, like, I don't want to be like the guy who like ruins everyone's good moment, you know? But I agree with you in the sense that, like, I felt like
Is this the way you bring Hogan back?
That's how I felt about it.
On
is
the
that, like, to
heels
me,
of
it
the
looks
death
like
of Gene.
One first and foremost, to me, bringing Hulk Hogan back, because the idea of bringing Hulk Hogan back is such a big thing at this point. Yeah. To me, bringing Hulk Hogan back, one, takes away the spotlight from Gene.
Yes.
Right now, all the headlines are not WWE pays tribute to Mean Gene, or it's Hulk Hogan pays tribute to Mean Gene. It's not.
How do you feel about Hogan?
Or
coming
how do you
back?
feel about Hulk Hogan coming back?
Yeah.
Not that Mean Gene video package was one of the best memorial packages they've ever done for
and that's not Hogan,
and
that's not Hogan's fault. Hogan wanted to come back. He got signed by the WWE again. This is him coming back, and of course, like I said, offering a very heartfelt tribute about Gene. That's not on Hogan. It's more how they booked it. I think is where.
Agreed. I agree with you that I believe I don't hate Hulk Hogan. I've actually forgiven Hulk Hogan, personally, and obviously he hasn't personally reached out to me to apologize, but I'm
sorry,
just saying,
brother.
In terms of Ryan Satin, how he feels, I have kind of forgiven Hulk Hogan to a certain degree. I don't think that he's walking around hating black people or hating minorities or that he's secretly in the KKK or I don't think that he is secretly a hateful person who hates black people.
Right.
I think that he was raised at a different time and things. He has now realized that things are different. I realized he was drunk, said some stupid shit, whatever, you know? I just feel like because there's only been one, well, you know, he's had these, you know, Good Morning America, all that kind of stuff. But like, in terms of like, look at Hulk Hogan is, to wrestling fans, like a lot of wrestling fans, a god, like a hero, you know, like he is,
I'll agree with that.
So like, I feel like to those, the Good Morning America crowd, that's to like mainstream media. That's to like the mainstream audience saying like, I'm sorry, please don't cancel me.
Right.
But I don't feel like Hulk Hogan has come back to the WWE audience, the audience that made him, the people who said their prayers and ate their vitamins.
Yeah.
I don't think he's come out there and apologized to them yet. Like, I don't think that he has said like, hey, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And I will spend the rest of my life making up for that mistake. But that's something that I want to do because I was a hero to a lot of you and I owe you that because a lot of you treated me as such and I let you down and I want to move past it because I care about minorities, I care about people, I care about the human race, and I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry. This is not me. This is not. When Hulk Hogan took off his glasses for a second and stopped being Hulk Hogan for 2 seconds or whatever it was, that was the most I've believed anything Hulk Hogan has said in forever, regardless if it was still an act. If he did that exact same thing and just came out and dropped the bullshit and dropped the character and said that shit, most people would be, the question wouldn't be, how do you feel about Hulk Hogan anymore?
Right.
It would be like, hey, okay, he said sorry. But he hasn't really done that.
Yeah.
Like, from everything that's been said, he went backstage and was like, hey, don't get caught.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it felt. You know, it wasn't like I'm sorry. You know, that's how I feel at least.
Do you think that was the reason the wrestlers didn't come out for the 10-bell salute onto the platform?
100%.
They didn't want Hogan coming out right afterwards through the wrestlers?
That's my guess.
Yeah.
That's how I looked at it. When I was like, because I was surprised they didn't have them all standing there on the stage for that 10-bell salute either.
Because they usually lead the show with that kind of stuff
I
when
thought
someone dies.
I thought it was weird how they didn't have it instead. It was like, well, no, let's have Hulk Hogan come out instead.
Right. I think it was with Dusty, everyone was on the platform, and I think with Brody, the same thing. Everyone was on the platform, and they played the tribute and blah, blah, blah. That's what I think. I think you should have led the show with Mean Gene's passing, did the 10-bell salute, let everybody get, and then you start this thing, and then you move into the brawl or whatever if you want some backstage or some shit. And then later Hogan comes out. That way he's not like on the heels of the Mean Gene thing.
It's weird to have it's weird to play Hulk Hogan's music right after a 10-bell salute.
Yeah.
And have him
no matter how
much
distance you put.
No, and then have him coming out and smiling and doing it. Even though he explained it when he was in the ring.
Sure, and pointing at heaven and everything, you know.
It looked weird to be like, I'm coming there because I care about Mean Gene. Right. Tribute only reason. And then it's like, bam, 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 and he's doing the point and everything. It's like, hey man, like you're there for a sad moment. And that's why there wasn't this like huge applause, I think. That granted there wasn't a boo, like it might have been if it wasn't connected to this, but they were in Florida and it was after a 10-bell salute. So they covered all their bases there. But still it was like it felt awkward, and I think it felt awkward seeing it, and I think that's why there wasn't this giant pop. I do think that it was heartfelt. You know, I think that
absolutely.
But I don't. A lot of people gave me shit on Twitter this weekend. It's not that I don't think Hulk Hogan is genuine. Obviously, Hulk Hogan wants to be there for genuine reasons.
Of course.
I don't think WWE was genuine in booking him there because I feel like the only reason they did that was because they wanted to have a way to usher Hulk Hogan back on TV one time without everyone booing him. They got the Hulk chant, Hulk Hogan chant from the crowd. They got what they need for the video package down the line.
Yeah.
They got it. And I think that was why they booked it. Because look, like you said, Dusty, when he died, they were all on the stage. There wasn't like someone special. Goldust didn't come in the ring and talk about him. No. When Roddy died, they didn't have someone stand in the ring and talk about him to the best of my recollection. They played the video package.
I think Cody was there too, and Cody didn't come out and talk.
Play the video package. They have him on the stage, whatever. And I get that Mean Gene meant a lot.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me that you believe that WWE only did that because of the history. No, they've been trying to find a way to bring Hulk Hogan back to TV for months now.
And Hogan has hinted at different times when he thought
saying
he was
that
going
we're working
to come,
on it.
Yeah, and saying that he was going to come back or he was on the way, or even tweeting that he was backstage at the recent pay-per-view and they didn't bring him out. So those kinds of things make you want, especially at didn't they bring him out for a Golden Jewel or Crown or whatever it was?
Crown Jewel, yeah.
Crown Jewel. He came out for that, which was not in America.
No, they never even mentioned it on TV in America.
Exactly. So he was, in essence, what they call canon. He was not canon again. But like with this, I don't know. I think there was a better way to do it. I get the fans liking it, and he certainly was heartfelt when he took the glasses off. And what was even more heartbreaking for me was Hogan's old, man. That was tough to watch for me. Hogan is an old man now, and
is that hard for you to see?
Yeah, because other times he's come back, and he hasn't necessarily been moving well around the ring, but you start to see that old man look where the eyes start to droop a little bit, and the faces, and you see that, and he's got a lot of weight on his shoulders, that guy, man, and I love Hogan to pieces, and he's carried a lot of weight for years in this company, and so to see him in that look was tough for me, but. That being said, like we said, it was heartfelt what he said. It was more a matter of, I think, where they placed it that it seemed a bit, off kilter for me. And I respect people liking it, loving it. And like I said, there's no bigger Hulk Hogan fan than me. And I'll fight you.
Love Hulk Hogan.
I'll fight you on that. I will effing fight you on that. But it's just this. I just felt like I have to be honest with my analysis. And my analysis, I felt like it wasn't the right time for him to come back.
Christian and I were talking about this before we came in. We came in here, started recording.
Later on in the show would have been fine.
Do you think that Hulk Hogan now, like you said, back in canon, right? Back in canon, back on the show, not put fully, but he has now been reintroduced.
He can be
into
shown.
The universe.
Yes.
Do you think? I'm trying to think of the right way to word this. Do you think that Do you think that Hulk Hogan can now come back whenever and it won't matter? They have gotten past it's gonna be weird if Hulk Hogan comes back now, so they never have to mention any of that stuff that happened in the past, and they're just gonna act like Hulk Hogan is Hulk Hogan again.
Yep.
You think they're never gonna mention it? And Hulk Hogan will never come out and apologize to the WWE Universe, like we've said.
Yeah, and don't be surprised if they don't have a moment where he confronts the New Day, or the New Day. Oh yeah. It's wrestling, brother.
I don't think so.
We had tampons in people's mouths. You going to tell me?
He wanted to bring it up. I know he wanted to bring it up.
You tell me they can't have a moment where New Day confronts Hogan and there's a weird exchange? That's certainly possible. And a number of black wrestlers have come out and defended Hogan, including Booker T. Yeah. So there is a contingent that certainly
I haven't seen any black wrestlers on the roster who have come out to defend him, though.
That's fair. But do you think Bobby Lashley would have an issue with it? I really don't see Bobby having an issue. Military guy.
I wonder that.
I'd be surprised. I'm sure he's had to swallow a lot of things in the military that he didn't necessarily want to do. Lord knows when I was in there, I had to. So that's the way it goes.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What's the worst thing someone said to you?
I'm not.
You can't say? You can't say the worst thing someone said to you?
That a superior said to me? Yeah.
Was it that bad?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
You have to take it. There's not an HR. You don't go to
There's
HR.
There's not an HR in the military?
The fucking military. There's no HR. Yeah, you can go to the people above you, but if the people above you are friends with that guy, then good luck. Good luck with all that. It can be yes, absolutely. Serve the country is always important. I am proud of the time I serve, but there are moments where you have to deal with assholes who are in the military, like you do with any other job.
I never could have done.
And they're more insulated than they are at other jobs. That's for sure. Yeah,
I'm going to ask him something that I can't ask off. I'll ask off camera because I have another follow-up question.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with you. I think that they're never going to bring it up again. I think they're never going to. I think.
Oh yeah, no, he's not going to make any kind of apology about it.
Best case scenario, Hulk makes a second apology to the roster, I guess.
Maybe
or
he's
just
on
the black wrestlers and said, look, I messed up.
Yeah, and maybe he's on Lillian Garcia's show, does an episode, and says, yeah, that was a tough time, and I'm sorry about blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
It's good. That's
right?
It's a good prediction, yeah.
It's a way of doing it without doing it.
It seems to be their new MO of tough topic. Have Lillian talk about it with them.
Right. She's cool with everybody.
She's great with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on. There was a Lumberjack Raw tag team match for some reason between Bobby Roode and Chad Gable versus the Revival. A Lumberjack match.
I didn't like the Lumberjack
I hated the Lumberjack part of it.
But the match itself
was good.
Was pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue the match.
I got to give credit to that match because I also was like, really? This is the change? We're getting more Lumberjack matches?
We're getting the Revival again?
Great. We're getting against Bobby Roode and Gable and the Revival again, and now it's just surrounding the ring against the tag teams that you're not doing that much with to remind us that you're not doing that much with them. But then I rewatched it with a fresh set of eyes like when I woke up again today. And there was a really good wrestling in that match.
Hell yeah.
Like, honestly, at the end of the day, Bobby Roode and Gable have almost grown on me at the end. Like, they're starting to slowly turn me in terms of liking them as a team.
Like Team B grow on you or grow on you in a different way?
I don't know, because like last night, they were actually doing like legit tag team maneuvers. And that to me is like a huge tag team thing. Like, I can't get into a tag team if they're not doing tag team maneuvers, because to me, I'm like, what's the point? If you don't have like a cool tag team move, I don't care about you.
Agreed.
There are some there are some people, there are some that have gone past that. Like, I don't think the Hardy Boys have like, no, they got that cool run into the corner thing. They've got cool, they had cool tag team moves. Yeah. They did the cool, back in the day, young Hardy Boys had dope tag team maneuvers. I take that back. The older ones kind of did less and less of them, but still. I am a believer that in order to be like a dope tag team, you got to have cool tag team maneuvers. Yeah. That's just me and my feeling on it. And like, they did that cool German suplex blockbuster thing that was dope. They even like, they were cool, busting out some cool things. Like, even when Gable kind of like got up on the top rope, not top rope, not on the turnbuckle, but the rope itself, and like was gonna flip. I think it was Dash over the top rope with him, and then Dash hit him, and then Gable pulled him out. Like, they were doing some innovative stuff.
Absolutely.
I got to give them credit for that. Even like the backdrop to the outside, they were doing that kind of stuff. Like, credit where credit's due.
Yep.
I was very entertained by the actual wrestling in the match.
I had no problem with the wrestling. It was a matter of the booking.
Yeah.
And then also those lumberjacks.
Yeah.
Like, why is Lucha House Party up there now at the same level as the Ascension and Team B? I thought you were pushing Lucha House Party.
There's no Lucha House Party rules anymore, so Vince lost interest.
That's true.
They're going to have to show up to the arena with like a much bigger pinata to get his interest now.
Speedy Gonzalez float or something. Sons of bitches. Yeah, but I didn't have a problem with the Roode and Gable retained, but with controversy because it was Dawson's leg was on the ropes.
Under the rope, I believe.
Or under the rope. Yeah. And so they didn't. They got the victory, but it was a little shady, so that pushes the feeling that Revival is being screwed over by the man kind of vibe. So I don't know where Revival sits. Are they heel or face? I don't know. They switch from week to week. They're a tweener. I guess you would say tweener, but you don't know, and maybe they're doing this to see if the fans respond to it.
Well, it's weird because, like, they're being booked as the faces, kind of.
It feels that way. Even though Chad Gable and Roode are faces.
Yeah, it feels like, but the... Not necessarily their characters, but the way the story is booked.
Yeah.
It feels like the Revival earned the position that the faces should be in. So it's like confusing because they're normally bad guys.
Yep.
So like it's confusing because they're being booked like good guys.
Yeah.
And you actually feel bad they're being screwed now at this point. I'm hoping we get a double turn at Royal Rumble maybe.
Ooh.
I'm hoping the Revival turn face. I don't know how it's possible, but like a double turn where Revival turns face. Gable and Roode turn heel. We haven't had Roode as a heel on the main roster. We haven't had Chad Gable as a heel since like the early days of NXT, his early days in NXT when he was doing the towel gimmick.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like trying to find a new partner or whatever. And he was like, but even then people still cheered for him because he was kind of like, it was funny.
Yeah.
I would like to see maybe a double turn.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to see.
Do they go to black tights? Like, what do they go to? Instead of those bright blue things they're wearing?
Yeah.
Which are uncomfortable. I'm sorry, they're uncomfortable.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I feel like they're gonna stick with the robes. The robe is a heel thing.
The robe is a heel thing, absolutely.
You
but
know,
the color's got to change.
Blue is too much of a good guy thing.
Baby blue is too good. That's a good guy thing.
Ric Flair used to wear baby blue.
So did Savage when he was a heel, right?
That's more your thing than me.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, but I always picture Savage in like multicolored stuff.
Yeah, but he did have
the orange tights.
He did have a pair of light blue that he would wear every once in a while with stars on them.
Okay.
But I hear you. I hear you. You're right. I mean, I guess you're right. There's a history for light blue. Rick Martel, when he was a heel, he wore the light blue stuff. And now we're going way back. All right, anyway, let's move on.
Also, I like the Macho Man when he had the tights. The long tights.
The
pants.
Macho
cool
Madness tights were
great. That was my favorite Macho Man.
NWO Madness tights were even better.
Yeah, his WCW gear was fly.
Agreed. Thoroughly agreed.
I remember when I was doing those fun facts on Twitter of wrestlers, David Arquette said that he bought one of Macho Man's stage-worn outfits.
Wow.
And then he went to, last year, I think he said, he went to Burning Man wearing the Macho Man outfit and giving out Slim Jims to people.
What?
So I was like, man, imagine tripping out at Burning Man and David Arquette, dressed as Macho Man, walks up to you, handing you a Slim Jim. You're going to trip out.
Bro, if I was tripping and I was there,
Yeah.
I would have sat with him all day.
Yeah, totally.
They're talking Randy Savage stories all damn
Randy,
day.
tell me more of your tales.
I would have played I have every one of Randy's Titantrons on my iPhone. Every one of his entrances.
Just like ready to go?
Yeah, always. I have a whole WWE section or WCW section on my playlist. My girlfriend found it the other day. She goes, "What the hell is this?" When she was flipping through on the phone when we were driving. Because she takes my phone when I drive now because I look at Twitter.
Great.
I look at Twitter too much. And
Fair.
when I'm at red lights. And she's like, "Give me this goddamn." So then she was looking for
Probably
music.
smart.
Yeah.
I do the same thing, but it's
looking
probably
for
for the
music.
best.
And she's like, "How do you have all these wrestling themes? What is wrong with you?" And I was like, "Baby, I use them when I work out. I love that WCW. What up, Mach? Damn it. I love that
There's
one.
a lot worse things she could have found.
That's
No
true.
problem.
Yeah, we'll get to that off camera. Anyway, all right. Elias taking on Baron Corbin here. This was interesting.
Wait, real fast though.
Yeah.
I breezed past it. I think that my favorite Macho Man theme song too.
Yeah. What up, Mach? Oh, the best.
Oh yeah. Love
Dun
that
it.
theme song.
Dun, dun, dun,
People
dun.
might not agree with this. They're gonna be like, Pump and Circumstance. Pump and Circumstance is cool.
Yeah,
but I loved that entrance.
But Flair already has a version
Yeah.
of that. So I like this What Up Mach shit.
What up, Mach?
Is that Gorgeous?
Oh yeah.
What was her name? Gorgeous George? Was that the one who did the What Up Mach? Because he was actually dating her at the time.
Yeah.
I think it's
I think we were supposed to believe that it was Gorgeous George.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. The girl, yeah. All right, Elias took on Baron Corbin here. This was an interesting little thing. I didn't mind it too much, but Corbin beating Elias bothered me a lot. I thought them going at each other was fine because they're a similar build and similar look, and I like that they can go at it. But I just didn't understand Corbin beating Elias. I don't know how that helps anything. And why is
Yes.
Corbin still on the,
One, yes, absolutely. Two, another match we've seen a bunch of times.
Yes.
Three, I will say, I like the idea of like Baron Corbin is snapped now that he's not GM and he's winning matches and goes on a winning streak. I get that thought process. They used this.
Why?
Well, okay.
Nobody likes him.
Agreed. But if we're looking in terms of like the character arc, right?
Yeah.
Baron Corbin was not very successful as a wrestler.
No.
He then became the constable, got a character change.
Yeah.
Not this weird-haired lone wolf. Now he's this nicely dressed bald man. They've made him, in some ways, more respectable.
Yeah.
Now they've tweaked his character, and now this is new push for Baron Corbin.
Right.
So I don't think they're gonna get rid of him on Raw.
No.
They put a lot of it. They invested a lot.
Yeah.
They got to get something out of it. So that was my thought process here. Was like, okay, this is the start of Baron Corbin's singles wrestler push again.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that you shouldn't do it at the cost of Elias. Elias is one of the top people right now.
Yeah, and also, here's the deal. If you want to play with that with Corbin, I don't have a problem with it. I think if you want to get Corbin over, Corbin is like in the back, walking up to people, asking how I did. How did I do? He's constantly in deficit to everyone else because he's like, I wanted, and he's trying to fantasy book matches, and he's like, make him desperate to be liked or loved or to get his position back. So he's doing these desperate things. If you throw him into the wild thing, I guess, yeah, it gives him a heel, but you have him winning matches and people hate him. And they don't hate him in the good way of being a heel and you're hated. They hate him in the way of like, this is annoying.
Yeah.
And that's never a good thing.
Go away heat for sure.
Exactly. Go away. So if you go, that's great. If you go in the back though and you're like, trying to fantasy, when I was GM, you're doing things like that, then it makes it seem like everyone's like, what a weirdo, And so you start to feel like there's another avenue to explore, and they could be even underdog, and who knows, he may even get over, and then that way you can bring him back in a certain way. I think that's, and I'm like you said, I'm not trying to fantasy book, just suggestions.
Yeah.
It might work better.
Totally. I think that, as much as they invest time in Baron Corbin, I do think it would best serve everyone to give him some time away.
Yeah,
because
I agree. Thoroughly agree.
He does remind you of the show they just said sucked.
Yep.
And then you're watching matches that are no different from when he was there, and you're like, wait, so the show still sucks.
Yeah.
You know, so like that's the main thing that I struggle with there. So yeah, I would like to see time away from Baron Corbin. I don't know if he really helped a lot. If anything, to me, it hurts because it's just like more proof that like not anything is changing.
Yeah, he's the Jar Jar Binks of the WWE.
Aw, poor Jar Jar.
You don't want to see him, not the actor. Ahmed Best,
I was just gonna
fantastic fantastic one-man show.
Like the Rocha trying to cover himself because that guy talked about wanting to kill himself because of how much everybody hated him.
Which was awesome.
Jar Jar, which was sad.
Yeah, it's very sad, but it was awesome that Ahmed turned it into something positive.
Totally.
I'm talking about the character.
That was
Ahmed
a gnarly
Best.
story when he went and talked about all that. That was intense.
Yeah, and he's been talking about that for quite a time.
Yeah.
When I was hosting a show over at Geek Nation years ago, he was hosting a show there as well, and he would occasionally talk with some of the people, and I'd be in the room hearing him talk about those experiences. It's terrible to hear about the things he went through, right?
I can imagine.
That whole movie almost killed everybody in that damn movie, except for McGregor and
Natalie
Darth
Portman.
Maul. Natalie Portman said after that experience, she was not sure if she would ever act again because she questioned her abilities after seeing her work in those.
And
prequels.
Hayden Christensen was like tagged as like the future of
You haven't
like
seen him
Hollywood.
You haven't seen him in anything.
Rarely
hardly
see him.
anything.
Yeah,
because of that.
rarely
So
see him.
A lot of people got destroyed from those prequels.
And young Anakin's like a mess in jail.
Yeah, drug addict and everything
Liam
like
Neeson did all right, but he was only in that
but
first
they killed
one.
him off.
They
Yeah.
killed him off real quick.
Spoiler alert. I mean, you know. And Darth Maul survived. Ray Park got good stuff out of that. Okay.
I finally saw Aquaman.
Okay.
I didn't hate it as much as you.
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it.
like how quickly
Let's make
you
it
jumped
clear.
to that.
I did not hate the movie. I just didn't
really
like,
didn't like
the
the
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
You kind of hated the
I
movie.
didn't hate the movie. I didn't
gotta
like
say-
the movie. There's a difference.
I little long.
Little long.
A little long.
A little long.
A lot of stuff could have been cut. But the problem was
It's like saying that Greatest Royal Rumble was a little long. It was long.
the problem is that the stuff they could have cut was kind of cool though. So it's like, do you? Well, I liked the first hour and a half of the movie.
They could have cut Manta out of the entire movie.
Yes.
Still would have worked.
Which sucked because he was a cool part. That's one of the things I was talking about.
Yeah.
They could have cut that entire Manta storyline.
Absolutely. You don't need it. Save it for the
But
sequel.
he was a cool character in the movie.
Sure,
and
use
he
him in
was
the
a fun
sequel.
part of it. I agree with you though. Like it was a little too much because there was too many villains
Yeah.
and stuff. And once they established Aquaman, because they made Aquaman cool in like the first hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then it became like a really cliche action movie, with like cliche dialogue.
Yep.
Looked cool, but it was what you remember a lot of those old comic book movies looking like that weren't cool.
Yeah. That's a great point.
Yeah.
It felt there was large parts of that film that felt like old '90s comic book superhero
very much
stuff
so.
that bothered you. And I respect
It felt like they
people
made
liking
that.
it.
It felt like they made a '90s comic book movie, and they were like, "Shit, we got to make this more fun, like Marvel." And so they messed with the first hour of the movie to make Aquaman like part of it fuckable.
Yeah.
Like where like no girls not. I mean, it's freaking Jason Momoa. You know, it's not
Yeah.
hard to do that. But they made like guys go like, "Oh, Jason Momoa's cool. I like
Yeah.
that guy." They did a really good job of making Aquaman seem like a really cool dude.
Yeah.
That they did a good job of, and then it kind of
It's the first male-led superhero film that has more women seeing it than men.
in a while.
By demographics.
In a long time, yeah.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So that being said, but like I said, I didn't hate it because I liked Momoa as Aquaman.
Yeah.
I liked the Tamura Morrison, Nicole Kidman romance that was going on. I liked a lot of what was going on there. I just felt like there was dialogue that was absolutely terrible.
There was a lot of it. And if it wasn't Jason Momoa and Amber Heard saying them, I probably would have disliked it much more. But you can't.
Amber Heard was good.
Amber Heard was good, and I keep saying Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
They look so like Jason Momoa. We're talking about wrestling now, but Jason Momoa and Amber Heard, because they're so aesthetically pleasing while they're saying lines,
sure.
it did help a lot. It helped a lot.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because that whole sequence when they go on a random Indiana Jones thing and they play that Roy Orbison
Was
song,
ridiculous.
I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, and the Africa cover.
Oh, yeah.
You're just like, what is
With Pitbull. That Pitbull song. Oh,
It
come
was
on.
yeah.
Cut it out.
All right.
It
Back
could
to
have
the
been a
rest of it.
better
Yes,
film.
I am with you.
Yeah, I don't hate it. It could have been a better film.
It could have been a better
That's
movie,
my
but I
problem.
did enjoy it.
Fair enough, and I respect that. You didn't mind the UFC. The Atlanteans are all UFC. A UFC crowd. It's not the same as Black Panther. That's tradition, heritage, all those different tribes coming forward. This is just a bunch of dudes sitting in a freaking stadium watching a fight going on. I was like, that's not how you rule.
Well, wasn't Atlantis? They're supposed to be like Rome, kind of, right?
7 kingdoms. Okay?
Yeah.
And bro, you own 70% of the world.
Okay.
Are we going to default to a UFC battle to decide who's going to run us? That was just so ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Fair. All right.
That was my issue.
Fair.
As soon as that moment when they slammed it and the alien was like, I was like, I'm out. I'm walking out.
That was definitely one of the most cliche 90s moments of the movie, for sure.
There's no
Yes.
depth to that.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, everyone.
People are going to get mad at me. I'm sorry. Anyway, all right, Braun, speaking of two people clashing as well, Braun Strowman.
Speaking of bad dialogue.
Oh, God, yes. This was uncomfortably weird.
Right?
I didn't understand what was happening.
Have you watched Bandersnatch?
Yes,
it reminded me of the scenes in Bandersnatch where like they're waiting for you to pick and the timer's just going out and they're just like staring at the screen and they're kind of like looking around. That's why I posted like a Bandersnatch meme because it really did remind me of that because it was like I posted one where it said like eat Jimmy John's or go to the ring or something like that. But it really reminded me of that because they're looking. They were standing there like looking around Braun and Brock. Because Brock's like, I'm not coming to the ring, and then Braun's kind of like just standing there. Well, no, you said you were gonna come to the ring, and then it's like this weird, awkward, like, well, you're a Beastie Boy. Well, I'm not a Beastie Boy.
Well, it's old tactics, isn't it?
It's weird.
Paul is a coward. Don't listen to Paul. He's crap coming out of his mouth or whatever he said. And I was like, none of this is badass talk. None of this is badass talk. And to me, I go back to Lesnar actually knocking the hell out of Strowman in real life.
Me too.
In that match. And I go, no matter what you say, Strowman, it ain't going to matter to me. It ain't going to make me believe that you could actually think you can beat this guy.
I had the exact same thought when he said, like, Brock, you could get these hands or whatever. And you're like, actually, Brock knocked you out, dude. Brock punched you so hard in the face that everybody watches it. Like Rocha has one of his saved YouTube playlists.
One of my gifts.
It's one of his things he goes back to watch. Like
just the shock on Strowman's face, the fear on Strowman's face. It's like, holy shit.
So like I did roll my eyes a little bit at that line for the exact same reason.
Yeah.
For the exact same reason. And they didn't get physical with each other at all in this segment.
Not at all. Lesnar just circled the ring and walked out.
It was like, okay, so I'm not going to go to the ring. But then he went to the ring because Braun called him a Beastie Boy. Yeah. And then he walked the ring anyways, but didn't do anything while he was there and left. What did that accomplish?
Yeah, nothing.
I didn't think it got me hyped for Royal Rumble. And I felt like another thing here where it was like, okay, and maybe Braun is still injured, and maybe that's why they didn't have any physicality.
Okay,
he's still recovering from his elbow injury or whatever. So
don't even have him come to the ring.
That was kind of why I looked at it. But at the same time,
have it in the stadium.
Well, you need to build up Royal Rumble. So
but you can still have him like The Rock would do promos from his
satellite
house
or whatever.
Yeah, from his house or from his office or things like that.
But you already had him come back once at the pay-per-view. I just think that the way they've booked him recently since the injury, because they have been insistent on kind of keeping him involved in storylines while recovering in some way, shape, or form.
Sure.
I kind of feel like it's hurt him a little bit. Like, I felt like the pop for Braun wasn't as big as it could have been.
Yeah.
I felt like he wasn't like seen as like the guy that got rid of Baron Corbin like he should have been because they had to have everyone else involved in that match.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, oh, Braun's back. Okay, well, he's not really saying anything that cool.
Yeah.
He's not breaking anything. He's not doing one of his Braun feats of strength. Okay. That was kind of the crowd felt. The crowd was kind of like, okay, cool, Braun's back. It didn't feel like everyone was like, Braun's back.
Right.
And I felt like I don't know if they anticipated a bigger reaction for him, but if that's what they expected, they should have, I would think, give him something cooler to get people into him. Get people to be like, remember why Braun is the guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of how I looked at it.
I would have rather him reading American Woodsman again and having all of that go down.
Yeah, that was
would have
funny.
been a lot more interesting.
I loved when he did that.
Yeah, it was the best.
But I don't think that there was a lot gained out of this segment. It didn't really get me hyped for anything.
It's boring.
Yeah, it was
I'm not excited to see this as a main event.
Yeah.
Not at all. All right, Apollo Crews and Ember Moon. We're doing the mixed match challenge again. Took on Jinder Mahal, Alicia Fox. I saw some stuff online where people liked what Jinder and Alicia did. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I laughed at what Jinder and Alicia did beforehand. I laughed at it.
All right.
I laughed at it. I wasn't saying like, I want to see it every time or whatever.
Right.
But Jinder calling out that guy's girlfriend or whatever was fun. And Alicia's funny. Like, Alicia's always entertaining when she's on screen.
Alicia's great.
Yeah, Alicia eats up every minute of screen time. Mm-hmm. So that part was fun. Yeah. The match itself I didn't really care about.
No.
Why
is Ember Moon in something like this? She should be in something else.
It seems to me, because I asked last night, I wanted to make sure, I was wondering if I was the only one who wasn't noticing changes. Like, I wanted to know if it was just me.
Right.
And one of the replies I saw more often than not was people saying, well, they're pushing new talent. Not new talent. They're pushing talent that people have been wanting to see pushed.
Right.
And they were pointed to Ember Moon, Apollo Crews, and Sasha Banks. Whether that's true or not, I'm not really positive. Sasha Banks, yes, clearly, based on last night. Got a little bit of a renewed push. And Ember Moon is being used a lot.
Yeah.
And same with Apollo Crews, but I don't know if there's anything like...
But a mixed match challenge is not where they need to be used.
Yeah, a little mixed match. I don't think anyone really gained here. That's another thing. Where like, yeah, it was a passable match. Yes, it kept Apollo and Ember Moon on TV.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I think both of them would be better served against a jobber. Like I think that jobber matches against enhancement talent that nobody knows, I don't know why they're going back. They've gone away from it again. They had James Ellsworth for a minute. Don't bring him back. But like, I think that enhancement guys, they have a place in wrestling.
Yeah.
And I think Apollo Crews coming out and doing a bunch of athletic shit against a no-name jobber would have been so much more effective than a semi-competitive match with Jinder Mahal or mixed match with Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox.
Yeah.
Same with Ember. She come out there and just done a bunch of athletic shit against a jobber and then did their finishing move, the Eclipse or whatever. Like, would have been much more effective, I think.
Yeah. All right, I hear your point. Well, speaking of Sasha Banks, let's move on here. Ronda Rousey was the first guest on Alexa Bliss's Moment of Bliss show.
Hopefully last as well. First and last.
Which I guess they were doing, obviously, to set up this match between Sasha Banks and Ronda Rousey, which eventually happens after Sasha beats Nia Jax in the match, in that play-in match. But they're trying to figure out what to do with Alexa. Now that they've stripped her of the general managership of the women's side of things, and I guess she's still recovering from that concussion, they don't know what to do, and so they're doing this. Like, they had her doing those like things with Sasha and Bayley in the ring. Now this. I think the biggest mistake they've made in this rejiggering was taking her off being in charge of the women. She is a character. She is a great heel. She's a fantastic actress for this wrestling stuff. And so to me, I think it's such a loss to ever be hosting a show. Like it's not like when Jericho does it and he's wrestling, that makes sense. Miz does it and he's wrestling, that makes sense. When she's not wrestling, it doesn't make sense. It's not like Piper's Pit. Piper's Pit was great. Even after Roddy stopped wrestling, Piper's Pit was still fantastic. Moment of Bliss it was kind of boring.
I think Piper's Pit had a gimmick too. Like, Piper told it like it was.
Yeah, right.
You know,
exactly.
like Miz's gimmick is that like he wants to be a Hollywood celebrity.
Right.
So now he's got his own morning show or nighttime show, whatever.
Right.
You know, it didn't make a lot of sense. Like, what is she doing? Like, why is she doing this?
Yeah.
Like, why? What does she care about? Like, that was the thing to me. It was like, there's no motivation to her character right now of like, what is she doing all this for?
Why are you using Alexa Bliss to put other people over in this way? It just doesn't make sense.
I honestly think
there's a better way to do it.
Similar to Baron Corbin, she better off giving her some time off.
That's not a bad idea.
Give her some time off.
Not a bad idea.
When she comes back, she'll be refreshed.
Yep.
Her head will be okay. She doesn't have to travel on the road every week. She gets some refresh. And then when she comes back, it will be like an impactful thing when she comes back and she attacks someone, the champion at the time. It'll be a big deal.
Sure.
Why not just give her a little bit of time off? These segments that they're doing with her are not entertaining. And she's entertaining.
Why is she interviewing Ronda when Ronda completely demolished her in that title match? And she should have anger towards Ronda. Why is she doing anything with Ronda? I agree with you, Ryan.
Why is she doing anything with any of these girls?
Fair
She's
enough.
supposed to hate all these girls.
Yeah, she's supposed to hate all the girls. She should be off camera and doing whatever. Or you should play up a storyline where she's desperate to be on camera. And so whatever, she's going to come up with ideas. And so she's going to use and get on camera. That way you play the heel storyline even more. That
makes so much more sense than just random talk show.
Her hunger for the spotlight.
Yes.
Yeah. You play that angle up. This was so weird.
It was just cringy. A lot of it was real cringy. It was like,
And not her fault.
No, not her fault. It's the writing of it. I don't think it was anyone's fault really in it. It was just the writing of it. The only good line in this whole segment, in my opinion, was when she said, like, get in line.
Yeah.
And Nia said, get in line. And Sasha said, what line, bitch?
Yeah.
That was the only cool part of that whole segment was, like, also, like, I don't know, like, why would Ronda talk about Sasha like that?
That was so weird.
Sasha's only shit on Ronda since she signed in the WWE. She talks shit on social media all the time about Ronda.
Yep.
Granted, it's in storyline, but, like, she only complains about her. She trolls the comments of Instagram to say that Ronda's not on her level.
Yeah.
Why would Ronda be out there like, oh, I love Sasha Banks? It makes Ronda look stupid.
And why does Ronda say Sasha has more talent or Littlefinger than Charlotte? And then to go after Becky's story, blah, blah, blah. Like, I get you have to keep that antagonistic storyline going on between those two and Ronda, but Ronda saying something so ignorant doesn't help her in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't push the storyline further between her and Becky and Charlotte. It makes her look kind of dumb in how she's talking about Sasha, because Sasha doesn't need Ronda to talk her up. Sasha has built herself with the fans. She is over on social media. She's over with the fans.
She's over.
Every time her music hits, the fans jump up and love that she's there. Cole with that weird-ass boss time stuff, which I hate his intro for her. And then Corey Graves is constantly giving her shit whenever she does her matches, which keeps her in the conversation and keeps her kind of over with the fans as well. So to me, all of that was so unnecessary for Sasha to... She didn't need Ronda to build her up at all.
Like, Ronda needs Sasha to put her over.
Yes.
Not Ronda needing Sasha to... Or not Sasha needing Ronda to put her over.
Exactly.
You know? So, yeah. I was
so
also confused by that.
I was so scared she was going to say Natty. I was just, like, so scared she was going to say Natty. And nothing against Natty. It's like, let's just move on from that
I was worried she was going to say Dana Brooke.
Oh, Lord. Dana Brooke. But then Nia came out, was mad, and said, you gotta fight me, and blah, blah, blah. And then, Sasha challenged her and then dropped the mic and walked to the ring. Then I thought we had a good match between them. But once again, we've seen them fight before.
That was the thing, is that it was like, it wasn't a bad match.
Nope.
But it wasn't like anything that was going to blow me away either.
And do you really think Sasha's going to put up any resistance against, I mean, for God's sakes, against Ronda? She's a waif. Ronda's going to kill her. It has to be believable.
I do think because of that, they did a good job during this match of trying to show that, like, Sasha can do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah.
Do that. Like, she was like crawling under the ring, then jumping over things to try and like show that like she's smart, that she can overcome obstacles. That's what I got from this match. Even that weird Hurricane Rana that was way more painful to her than Nia Jax. Was like it was supposed to be like, oh. It's almost, I think, what they want AJ to be, of like, she's finally snapped that bulldog in her. She's going to do whatever it takes to win, you know? And so, like, that's the vibe I got. They were trying to get Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks calling people a bitch now. Like, Sasha Banks, you know, like, she's tired of being that nice guy Sasha Banks image. Like, she's proving like she's the boss now. Yeah. And, like, I don't know. So I get that. So at least I like that. That's what I spotted in the match. And I do think that Sasha Banks versus Ronda is the best call for the
at this
Royal
point.
Rumble.
Yes, agreed.
I think that Ronda needs someone to keep her busy right now. The only thing is that, like, the thing that I wonder is that, like, is how it's going to work on social media, because the social media banter between Ronda and Charlotte and Becky is a popular thing in WWE right now. Are they just going to throw Sasha into that mix as well now?
Yeah, but if you do that, and this is what may be happening, it's what occurred to me last night, it may be happening this way. If they're setting up that 4 horsemen versus 4 horsemen, now she'll start to have heat with Sasha and Becky and Sasha. With Bayley, and then Bayley's next. And then that'll be something, because if Ronda beats Sasha in some way that's a little controversial, and Bayley's on the side of the ring, maybe there's something, or Bayley interferes in some way, and Ronda like takes her ass out. Then you've got this whole setup with Ronda against the 4 horsemen. But when do they do the
4 horsemen versus 4 horsemen?
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
We're only
with Shayna
a few months away from WrestleMania.
Yeah, we are. So maybe they come out in the Royal Rumble. Hey. Some people believe the road to WrestleMania starts after Royal Rumble, but Cena doesn't. Woo!
Vindication from John Cena. I was so happy when he said that on Raw this week. I was like, yes, I've been right for years. Aha, Jamie Iovine. Aha.
I love Jamie's comebacks though on Twitter.
That was great.
John's been out of it. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But if this is the beginning of the road to WrestleMania Royal Rumble, which some people believe, then maybe those women come out and save Ronda in some attack or whatever. If Becky and Charlotte come out, like there's all kinds of things that can happen here.
Well, okay, so like let's say we're mapping that out. Like I see for WrestleMania, right? Ronda versus Charlotte versus Becky.
Yeah.
That's I feel like what we're going to get.
Sure.
Everyone compromises there. The fans get Ronda versus Becky. Vince gets Charlotte in there. Everyone gets what they want out of it. Women main event WrestleMania.
And Becky wins.
Then I think Sasha and Bayley will wrestle Lita and Trish Stratus for the women's tag team titles at WrestleMania. That's my next guest, right?
Okay.
It's just a hunch. It's just like me guessing. Okay. And then that leaves the SmackDown women's title, right? Mm-hmm. So then I think Asuka versus like Ember Moon. No, because Ember Moon's on Raw. Asuka versus like
for the title?
Yeah, like who does Asuka wrestle in that case then? Because Charlotte and Becky are going to wrestle Ronda.
I don't think it's going to be Charlotte and Becky versus Ronda.
What do you think?
I think it's going to be Becky versus Ronda, and I think Charlotte's going to fight Asuka.
Okay, that works too.
In a rematch of last year where Charlotte stopped Asuka's storyline.
This time Asuka gets her revenge for the streak being broken.
For the streak being broken.
I can roll with that.
That works for at least in my opinion.
That also makes sense.
Everyone wants.
But I could also see him.
Ronda.
Yeah, because I guess you need one-on-one women's match.
You do. You have to.
At least one.
Yeah.
Well, no. See, then okay. So I think that if Becky is in a singles match, I think the multi-man match will be with Asuka, or multi-woman match will be with Asuka.
Okay.
The Asuka, Charlotte, Mandy,
and Sonya.
you know, like Sonya, Naomi, and like a multi-man match or something, multi-woman match.
So Naomi and Asuka maybe versus Naomi and.
Oh no, I think like a 6-woman.
Gotcha.
You know,
6-woman
like
tag. Okay.
Not tag, like a 6-woman ladder match or something like that. You know what I mean? Like something along those lines. Where
now
like,
you're talking my language.
Yeah. So we're multiple women in the match again, wrestling for the title. I could see something like that.
I love a woman's ladder match. Those ladies put themselves through some incredible things.
Yeah, they do.
As much as men, if not more so. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
All right, last thing. Speaking of crazy matches, Falls Count Anywhere match happened here between Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. This one all around, and then of course there was interference there from Bobby Lashley that caused Rollins to lose the match. So I guess we got a new rival or new program here between Lashley and Rollins, fully
seems that's
in
where
motion
it's going. Yeah.
Here, yeah. But what happens to Ambrose? Does he get forgotten in this whole situation?
I mean, they could probably
going to give him a fight
with Elias.
Oh yeah,
I'd rather see that. I
but
think
Elias is taking on Corbin.
Yeah.
Who's he going to fight in the Rumble? Because the Rumble's weeks away. Couple of weeks away.
Maybe a 3-way match? No, they're all going to be in the Rumble. I bet you all three of those guys are going to be in the Rumble.
So you don't think he's going to defend his title at the Rumble?
I bet you he doesn't.
Okay.
I bet you he's in the Rumble match, and that's why he was involved in all the mix of people that are like Rumble guys.
Right.
Drew McIntyre. I think he already said he's going to be in the Rumble too. So like the Drew McIntyres, the you know, all that crowd of people who already announced Cena, all that stuff.
All right. Did you like this though? Did you like the storyline moving into what we've got here with Rollins and Lashley?
Well, one, I very much hated them giving us the 30-minute match in the beginning that ended with a pinfall of Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, only to do it again in the main event. Granted, it ended in, no contest or whatever, but I thought it was weird of like, really? You just gave us that? You just had those guys wrestle in the opening match. Is the roster that thin that you had to repeat 2 of those guys from that match?
Yeah.
It's not. There are other guys back there. You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't understand that. Like, I was very confused. I thought, the weird segment with Triple H and Seth Rollins when he came back, I just didn't care for it. Didn't care. They were way too close while talking.
Yeah.
Uncomfortably close, face to face. But yeah, I just didn't think it was a good ending. Like, I just was like, well, we already saw this match. Why am I going to sit here and tune in for a match I literally watched once already on this show? That bothered me a little bit.
I agree with you. I wasn't 100% a fan of this, and we'll see where it goes. But we should wrap this up now. We've been in here almost an hour.
All right.
You've got to cover all Elite Wrestling, and you've got to do the things you need to do, brother. We started a little bit early today. All right, well, that's our thoughts on the Raw recap. What did you think? Did you like the show? Did you think it was like Ryan was saying, a lot of same matches over and over again? Here we go again. Or did you see maybe with your microscope some minuscule changes happening within the program that'll get you excited going into Royal Rumble, and then going into February, and then WrestleMania? So let us know in the comment section. And Ryan, tell them everywhere they can follow and do stuff.
ProWrestlingSheet.com. That's the website. At Wrestling Sheet on all social media. YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That is our YouTube channel. That's where you can find a video I recently did on 10 wrestlers all Elite Wrestling should sign to deals. It's where I do our recaps, Wrestling Sheet Radio, all sorts of fun stuff there. So make sure you subscribe, like, comment, all that sorts of fun stuff. we're gaining on followers. It has been a huge help to those of you who have already subscribed. I can't thank you enough for doing that. I love seeing that we're gaining followers every day. But you guys telling people and spreading the word helps. So please, please, please continue to spread the word to all your friends that enjoy pro wrestling. Also, you can find me on social media. I'm at Ryan Satin, and everything that Collider is doing here. Collider.com, Collider Videos, Collider Podcasts, Collider everything. It's all here.
All Collider all the time. Yeah, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. And of course, Collider Sports stuff happening. You can follow there. Go to the Collider Sports YouTube channel, Collider Sports podcast channel, and hear all the stuff we're covering. And we just finished covering the wild card weekend of NFL games this past weekend. Taylor Bashadi stopped in from the NFL Network to talk to us for about 45 minutes, 50 minutes about those games. We're going to have a preview of the upcoming playoff games coming on later in the week from Collider Sports Time, and then, of course, we'll cover it again on Monday. So we just did a Premier League recap, so a lot happening on Collider Sports. Go and subscribe there. And shout out to Aaron Turner. Hope you're having fun down there in Orlando covering that conference, brother.
He's the one I've been looking at my phone for the whole time. Yeah, he texts me some cool stuff from there.
Awesome. Him and his iconic shirt. All right. We'll talk to you next week on Collider Body Slam Raw Recap.
ProWrestlingSheet.com